Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 2253 Rogue Way here in West Lynn. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. Right now we are inside the garage. I'll show this spot here. Got a clean out here that kind of goes right out through the front right corner foundation wall. If you were to walk through that wall right there, you'd basically be underneath the front staircase that leads up to the front door. Got a 3-inch ABS clean out. Unfortunately, because of the configuration of this clean out access without a Y on it, I can't really run water during the scope. I tried looking for another clean out on the outside here, so we'll see how everything goes. Plenty of water's been down this thing. This is looks like a fairly well lived in home. Alright, we're zeroed out. Off we go here. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. I got carried away there at the start about where this thing was located at. We're checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Off we go here. That stuff my camera's scraping loose from the pipe bottom. It's grease buildup. I should say it's a combination of grease buildup. You know, you'll get toilet paper products that'll stick to it. Kind of becomes a conglomerate of that stuff over time. Anyway, we'll see how that looks on the way out here. This line's got more fall to it than your average sewer line. The way that it exits out here, and it somewhat sits above street level, you've got a reasonable amount of fall to the line. I'm mostly pointing it out for educational purposes as well. If you put a lot of cooking oil and grease down your line, it will build up. We just transitioned there over to 4-inch 3034 PVC. Thus far, the line's looking good. The only thing I can nitpick about it is some grease buildup. The bummer of this one here is I'd love to be able to run the water as realistically, as thin as this layer is, by the time my camera goes through and starts scraping a pathway through it, once you get water running in here again, a bit of this will slough off the pipe. Right there is the main lateral connection. I apologize, normally I've got my auto leveling camera head. I've got a different camera today. Otherwise the camera lens would always be right side up. Doesn't really bug me much, but I apologize for the viewers who aren't used to looking at sewer lines. Anyway, structurally the line looks fantastic. There is not a drop of standing water in it anywhere. A little bit of grease buildup, and thus far it's looking like a fairly minor amount of it. So we're going to go locate the camera head. Normally this is where I'd let the line completely drain out. We don't have that problem here today. I'm going to pull the camera back up a little bit. But you can see how my camera's cutting a pathway through the stuff there. Once you kind of create a spot for the water to start working on the edges of the grease, and it's never just grease, it's a combo of grease and paper products. You can see how it's kind of chunky right there. Once that grease gets impregnated into the toilet paper products, it sloughs off relatively easily once you give it a spot to start working on it. So not too concerned about it. I'll give it another look over as we come back in, but thus far it's not one I'm terribly worried about getting cleaned. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Where the line ends up, basically punches out around where the doorway is and then runs out straight out of the road almost directly in front of the front door. Or in line with it. Where I took that locate there and turned around and faced the house, you're lined up almost perfectly with the very, very tip of the driveway skirt on the right side of the driveway. If you don't know what a driveway skirt is, that's where the driveway flares out right before it hits the street. Hence the name driveway skirt. Yeah, the camera chewed through that pretty good. In fact, we're making 2 different pathways through it as we come back here. It's a little bit different story when you get just pure grease buildup and the camera just doesn't hardly do a thing to it. I did drain cleaning for many years, and a lot of times I come back to scope these things in the span of a week. I mean, real honestly, about 50 to 75% of it busted loose on its own, just under regular water usage inside the house. But it is something you do want to be careful of, though, especially if you have kids in the house, little people that haven't learned how to fold their toilet paper yet and ball it up. At the point this is right now, this is not the kind of grease buildup that would just cause a blockage on its own. There's not enough of it there. But what it can do is it can contribute to something that's already getting very close